Good morning, my little coffee beans, and welcome to Madeline's Life Management. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing stories from working in childcare. So I was in a toddler classroom, and there was a little girl who had her hand in her diaper. And so, you know, whenever you like talk to the kiddos, you get down on their level. So I got down on her levels, I bent down and I was like, Miss, Miss so-and-so, do you need a diaper? Do you need a change? Does something itch? And she pulls it out of her diaper and she's walking over, she walks like this, dun, 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 and I'm talking and she goes, dun, 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 boop. And I'm like, ah! She dropped a poop in my hand, like a little rabbit poop, you know, those really smelly, potent ones. Dropped it in my hand and I was like, ah! His teacher informed me that he really likes to be sung to if he is having a hard time sleeping. Well, I had a very, very scratchy throat. I was very, very ill. And so, but not contagious. I was on, antibiotics. So I go to, and he goes like this, which means baby shark. So he was going like this and I was like, I started to sing baby shark doo doo, but it was like baby shark, and he's like falling asleep, and I go baby, and he goes no, and he's like no, like he was so offended. He's like no, and then he does it again, like do it correctly, and so I'm like I was like Mr. So and so. I said, Madeline's voice is gone. It's gonna sound a little different. I can still sing, but it's not gonna sound right. And he just kind of looks at me like this. He's got his pacifier and he's like, and so then he goes, like, do it again. So I was like, okay. So I was like, baby, and he goes, no. And he was so offended. He was saying no, like I was doing something really mean, like no. And he'd take his pacifier out to say to you, no. And they'd stick back in 17 months. So not yet a 1.5. And he was in a onesie and we had these like fish rings that you could like stick together. So I look over and he has his onesie pulled out and he's putting the fish ring into his onesie. Put it in. And I'm getting a kick out of it. But I'm just kind of watching, seeing where this is going because he's putting fish down his onesie. And and I'm just watching and kind of interacting with the kids around me. And then I see him a minute later and he goes, and his whole like belly is just bulging with these fish toys. It's like sticking out and he's going, ow, ow, ow. And he's like hitting the fish and Doman saying ow. And at this point in time, he said ow and uh-oh. And that was just about it. And I'm pretty sure he could say like mommy and daddy too. But so anyway, so I go over and I'm like, Mr. So-and-so, it hurts because you have fish in your onesie. Try taking them out. And he goes, and he just looks so surprised. Like he looks in his onesie and is like, how did those get there? Like what happened? So he goes, and then he proceeds to, and he was a very expressive kiddo. He's so cute. And he proceeded to take them all out of his onesie with the same expression, like just in, like, how did they get there? Just, we talk a lot about nice touches, to ourselves and to friends. You want to foster those feelings of being able to fix it. It was a morning and I walk in and the first thing I see is this little boy who's a little bit, we just had, there were some kiddos that moved up. So there were little tinies and then a little bit older, maybe like 18 months again. And then about a year, 12 months. So this little boy hit this other little boy on the head and the other little boy goes, Mah! And it was just so mad. So without even thinking, I run up and I scoop the little tiny up and I'm comforting him and I'm like, oh yeah, did someone hit you? That hurts. That wasn't very nice. But I wasn't really paying attention to the other child because in the moment I was thinking about the child that was hit. So the kiddo that hit him ran over and he's like, ah! and the other individual that was in the classroom, his teacher went, so-and-so's gonna hit him. And I was like, no, he's not. And I bend the little kiddo down, and the other little kiddo that hit him was going and giving him nice touches. I was like, he just wanted to give him nice touches. I forgot, you know, in the moment, I didn't give him the opportunity to give him nice touches. And so he was worried that we weren't okay, that their relationship wasn't okay. So he gave nice touches and then gave me a hug and then ran away and played, and he was fine. This is one that a parent told me about, and I just thought it was too funny to not share with you guys while doing a list of the funny things that kiddos are doing. So there was this little boy, and he had recently learned how to roll his eyes, and he'd do the whole, like he did the exasperation, everything. It wasn't just like he would go, so he was closer to 2 years of age, and he didn't really understand what it meant. So he just kind of do it in opportune times and all the time. So his mother, they came back they'd been something the night before, and they came back in the morning, and she said, I have to tell you, yesterday we went to a funeral. And we went up to give our condolences, and we were holding him, and we said, you know, we're so sorry for your loss, blah, blah. And she goes, and the person went, oh, thank you so much, and goes, oh, and rolls his eyes. And she said, I was just like, oh, he doesn't know what that means. He's just learned to do that. So we had a little girl come to school, and she had a Band-Aid on her forehead. And throughout the day, you know, she came, oh no, what happened? And she, ow, and oh, did something happen? But you have a Band-Aid on it. Is that protecting it from germs? And you know, we talk a lot about how germs are not for sharing. So anyway, this little girl, all day, whenever something, you know, when maybe she wasn't getting a lot of attention, because you know there are a lot of kids who were interacting a lot, she would go, ow, and then go up and get hugs, and she'd be a little sad, and we'd talk about it. And so her dad comes to pick her up that evening, and I went, so what happened? I noticed she had a Band-Aid. She's been pointing to it and saying ow and getting hugs, and he started laughing. He goes, oh no, she just really likes Band-Aid. She's just wearing it as an accessory. We have one little boy that really likes lights, and he go light on and light off, and so he was just fascinated with lights, and his parents got him light up shoes, and he was about 17 months, and it was nap time, and he's like sleepy, and he turns over on his back, and he's got his feet in the air, and he goes, he's just looking at me. So finally I looked down, I was like, hi, you know, is it time for night? Are you getting sleepy? And here are his little feet, and he goes, and they light up, and he goes, light! So, you know how earlier I talked about the kid that like hit the younger kid? So now they're older, and the kid that hit him is about almost 2, and this one's 18 months. And so this one, the little one, sat down and started crying, and I'm pretty sure he was upset because, we wouldn't let him stand on the table. And so we said, you know, you can't stand on the table. You might fall off and get hurt. That would make me so sad. That would hurt you. Instead, we can climb on the stairs. We can climb in the climbing area. You can, you know, so giving him options. You can keep your feet on the floor. You can sit down a chair at the table. But he just didn't like that he couldn't stand on the table. So he sat down and he started crying, and he was like, ah! You know, he cried with an open mouth, and the other kid had this like squeaky toy lizard, and its face is like this, and it's about this big. And he went over to him, and he went, boop, and he plugged his mouth with the lizard like a pacifier, and then he plugged him, and then he just walked away. And the little boy that was crying was so stunned, he was like, whoop. And he was just so stunned that he didn't know what to do. And the other little boy just kind of walked away like, nee, like he turned off the noise. Just whoop, whoop. And then the other little boy just kind of went, and he started chewing it like a pacifier. So after that, we were like, okay, well, we need to wash this. Let me get you a teether. But it was so funny that he was able able to put two and two together that like, oh, someone's crying, it's the mouth is open, let's just stick something in there. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you were able to laugh at a few of these, and I will see you in my next video. Or as little kids say, mwah.